Hello and welcome to episode number 83 of the Product Biz podcast. My name is Monica Little and today we are talking about the top 3 apps you should be using on Shopify with Erin Alexander. So I get it. When we talk about Shopify, this can be an intimidating beast. There's so many components you can add, options to fill in, apps you can use, which is why we are bringing in a special guest, Erin, to share with you her top tips for Shopify and top mistakes to avoid, from using specific apps to get more reviews, specific apps to add in easy upsells that customers can add something to their cart with the click of one button, and how to update your images to be SEO compliant using a specific app on Shopify, and how to use Shopify's email capabilities. You are going to walk away with tips and insights to make your Shopify website even better. A little bit about Erin. She's the creator of Product Powerhouse, and she helps product-based business owners show up online with confidence. She's the host of the Product Powerhouse podcast, and she teaches online shop owners how to build, grow, and scale their online business through courses, digital products, and coaching. She is just a wealth of knowledge about SEO, about Shopify, about growing a business. So we're going to bring her on so you can hear exactly what she's got to say today. Welcome, Erin, to the Product Biz podcast. I'm so excited to have you here today.
Thank you, Monica. I am so excited to be here with you.
I'm excited to chat about Shopify, get some insights from you. I know you are a Shopify expert, so this is going to be so much fun. But before we dive in, I would love to hear more about you and introduce yourself to the listener. So tell us your background, your story, how you got started, how come you're a Shopify pro, all the details.
Yeah, awesome. So my name is Erin Alexander. I'm the creator of Product Powerhouse, which is a resource for product-based businesses learning how to use Shopify to build, grow, and scale their business. So it's all website centric, using your website as a tool to grow your e-commerce business. I am a web designer by trade, like passion, trade, all of that. I was just telling someone I started designing websites when I was in high school. So I've been designing websites for a long time, and I have just always really loved web design. In 2019, I started to work with a company that I was a coach inside their program teaching about branding and websites, and all of them use Shopify. And I'm like, if I'm going to teach them about their websites, I need to know Shopify. And I had so much fun that I just went all in on it. So I've been exclusively working on the Shopify platform for 4 years now. I absolutely love it. I think it's a really powerful tool for businesses of any size. And just really, really love it. I am a mom. I'm a wife. I almost said that backwards. So I'm a wife and mom of 2, not a wife of 2. That would be way too much work. We live in Eastern Washington. I'm just, run my business, take care of those kids, that type of thing. So that's me in a nutshell.
I love it. Love it so much. And I love just hearing your passion about Shopify too, and how you love helping others. So with Shopify and how you work with others, because I think this is going to frame the rest of the conversation a bit. How do you work with people? Do you help them with how to DIY their own Shopify sites, or do you make Shopify sites for other small business owners, or are you like a master of all trades and you teach and you also do the done for you type of services?
So up until recently, I've really done both. Like I have had an offer where I did it for people. Right now, I'm really focused on the DIY. I love helping people figure it out. I love it when someone's like, I've been using Shopify for 5 years and I didn't know I could do that. Or like, I don't have the money to spend several $1,000s on a website. How can you help me? That's my passion, because I think I've been there. When I started my company, my husband lost his job. I was pregnant with our second kid. Like things were bad. Like our phones got shut off. We had no money. And so building a business from the ground up and seeing what's possible, those are the people I love to help. So I love to help people DIY it. And that's my main way I support people. I have a course called DIY Shopify that walks you through the process from scratch. Like, how do we get this up? And how do you build a store in a reasonable amount of time? I also do VIP days. So it's I have a Shopify store, but I want to switch themes and I don't have the time to do it, or I need help getting some of these apps or whatever. I do it through VIP days now. Instead of offering like a full website build, I'm just working with people who like they've gotten started, but they need a little bit of help. So like mid-level, not the advanced, like huge corporations that are using Shopify, but like that mid-level of people. Those are the people who I love supporting and working with. And a lot of them, sometimes they'll have DIY'd it. And now they're like, okay, well, now I'm DIYing it. And, so much has happened that I just don't have time to do it anymore, or things have changed and I haven't learned that new process. And that's where I come in, because I can keep up with the things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. And one thing that you said, Erin, that I really loved, and I want to dive into a little bit, is how you love working with people and then they come back to you and say, oh my gosh, I've been using Shopify for 5 years and I didn't know I could do that. Because for me personally, and the people who listen to this podcast know, I used Squarespace. I loved Squarespace. I found it super user-friendly, but I didn't use Shopify, so I'm not a Shopify expert. So obviously Shopify is a website, and you have a homepage, and you have a product page, and you have all your products, and you have the checkout pages, and people can purchase your products. Cool. You can host a blog. You can do all the fun things. But what I really want to know from you are, what are some of those really either like low-hanging fruit, things that people miss, obvious things that you notice people don't do and they should be doing? I know this is like a super open-ended question, but what are some of these Shopify features or apps or things that you wish every single product-based business owner was using that would just help them in whatever way possible?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, my number one thing is I'll be honest, I hate it when you pick a theme and then you're just like plugging in your content into like the pre-made theme layout that they gave you. A lot of people don't know that you can delete that. Like you can delete everything and start scratch. Like you pick a theme because you like the style or you like the features that it has, and then you customize it to fit your business. You don't try to fit your business into the boxes that they created for you. Scratch those boxes and start fresh. What I end up seeing so many times is people are trying to fit their business into those whatever sections that the theme developers put out there, and they don't know what goes somewhere, or so they like leave the filler content, or they leave it blank, or it just doesn't make sense. And then they're missing really important sections that they need to have on their homepage or on a product page. So I think the number one thing is, don't try to fit your business into the theme. Kind of use that theme as a framework, and then you're going to completely customize it to fit your business. The other thing I see a lot of people doing is just leaving things blank when they don't know what to put there, like in their SEO settings or like their privacy policy, their terms and conditions. They don't know what to put there, so they just leave it blank. And Shopify does have pretty good, they have a really great actually like help center. So if you don't know what something goes or what something means, I recommend you look it up. Like use the help center to look up what something means, and don't leave it blank. Most of the time you're just like, it's like a missed opportunity when you leave things blank. A big one, I'll tell you, a big one that people leave blank is the description for their collection. So you might have a collection, you have a collection title, and almost, I would say 75% of stores I look at leave the description of the collection blank. And that is a huge missed opportunity for getting good SEO on your product pages and people finding your collection pages.
Ooh, I love it. Those are two good ones.
I think the other thing, yeah. They are.
No, you got another one. Let's hear it.
I feel like I got one more. So the other thing that I want everyone to do is to install an app that sends out automatic requests for reviews from after someone makes a purchase. Right now, my favorite is Stamp. Nope. I changed it. Sorry. Right now, my favorite review app is Judge.me. I used to recommend Stamped, which is why I said that. And Stamped is a great app. It's just more expensive. So I like Judge.me because it's a little bit cheaper. Things start to add up. So Judge.me, you fill it in, you customize it to look like your brand, and then you tell it 7 days after an order has been fulfilled, ask that person for a review. And then if you upgrade to the $15 a month plan, you can have it send out reminders, and you can really customize like what it says. And so it is worth the $15 if you want to go a little extra, but you could even use that free plan. But those reviews are gold for like people want to know what other people think about your products. And even if you don't have a review for every single product, you can use those reviews as in a general, like on your homepage or on your product pages, just to show what people think about things that you do sell. And so that's a missed opportunity. Like you got to get those reviews. So I think everyone should install a review app.
Yes, I just want to echo that. I think reviews are so important, like showing that social proof of why your products are the product that that person needs to buy at that point in time. Because we live in such a world where we're like seeing what other people are buying, seeing what other people are doing. Oh, that person is promoting this. Oh, that person is trying that. So when they actually, if they're landing on your website and they don't have that social proof that got them there, they need some sort of social proof to like confirm their expectations and really give them trust. So love that. Judge Me. That is a great app. While we're on that app conversation, are there any other apps that you recommend? Because from what I understand about Shopify is you have a theme, which helps you build your website. And like you said, you populate the information. And I love what you said of you can delete certain contents or columns or blocks instead of trying to fill it in. But then there's also the apps that you can then add for additional functionality like Judge.me. Are there any other apps that you are like, this is something that people need to know, need to use. It's going to make your life easier. It's going to help you get reviews or whatever it may be that you want to share about?
Yeah, so apps
or do
really
people
help
not need apps? Like, what's the deal?
Honestly, you can use Shopify out of the box without any apps. And Shopify has some that they've created for you. Like you can use Shopify email, you can use Shopify forms. The Shopify ones tend to be a little bit limiting because they want to have relationships with app developers. Like they love that app developers have figured out ways to, really make Shopify customizable. And that's what you get with the apps. And that's what makes it really, really flexible and something that can scale with you. So yes, you're going to have apps. You don't have to have a ton of apps. You can have just a few. There are usually paid and free ones. Sometimes like a paid app will have a free option. But that's really how you get the customizable solutions. So I'll tell you some of my favorite apps. My number one favorite app that I install practically everywhere that I build is called ShopPad Infinite Options. This allows you to have like customizable products where I could say, I make this t-shirt with your name on it and you're going to tell me what your name is. I have customers who use it to add gemstones to necklaces. You can use it to increase prices. I like the ShopPad one because it's also synced with your inventory. So if you have products that have inventory, you can use that also. You can have upsells. I love it as an option for upsells. Like have a little checkbox that says, would you like this gift wrapped? Or would you like to add a cleaning cloth? Or would you like to I don't know, whatever you could do, like, would you like to add a watering can with this plant you bought? Or would you like to buy fertilizer? Like you can add anything. And it's just a little checkbox and it adds $5 to their order and it puts that in their invoice for you. So that is one of my favorite apps. Like it's just so incredible. Like you can think of anything and you could use that app for it. Goodness. Okay. So then off the top of my head, what else do I use? Let me look. I have like a store that I work on a lot.
A little pull up and see what you got.
I really like the Hexstum app called Bulk Image Edit and SEO. You can use it to like compress your images and to add alt text to images. And you can use it to change your image file names if you like uploaded them and they all say like DC 10,504, like you can use it to edit your images so they're a little more SEO friendly. That's way more time like convenient than going through and like updating all your images on your computer and then re-uploading them to your Shopify store. Mm-hmm. And it's pretty affordable. Plus you can do all the work once and then you can stop using it. Like just, you don't have to pay for it anymore if you're done with that.
And can I ask a question on that one really quick? Because I love how you said compressing images, adding alt text, changing the name of the file. Can you share with people why that's important? Because I heard you say SEO, but why is this important for SEO?
Yeah. So all of your images, they are, okay, so this is all good for SEO because it makes your site load faster as far as your images, like compressing your images. The thing about e-commerce stores is that every single product we have has, a ton of product images, right? Like you might have 5 to 10 images for one product, and each image has to be loaded by the browser in order for someone to see it. So that takes time, and that's where you get like that site speed. And people say like, oh, they want to see your site load within half a second or whatever. I don't think that that's technically true in my opinion. I think people are more invested into that, but you do want your site to be as fast as possible. So compressing your images is one way to save a lot of time when it comes to loading time. Alt text is also a way to make your images more search friendly, so that alt text is like a little description of what the image is, so that when people are searching, like they might see that word, like maybe you said you had a pink hat on, it would say that, like your picture would say like woman wearing a pink hand knit hat, that type of thing. And that can help you show up in search results. It's also really important for accessibility. So screen readers and people who are visually impaired, they might not see the image very well, or maybe they can't tell the color of something. And so that alt text tells them what that's about, tells them what the images mean. And so that's just really good for accessibility, but also it has like this hidden benefit of it's another way to sneak in your search phrase or your keywords into that image. The file name also can have an impact on your search results. Like if you show up in research results, it's not quite as important. Like it's not as important as maybe like compressing your images or adding alt text. But I figure if I'm in there working in bulk image edit, I've already paid for like all these changes. I might as well change the file name too. I don't think it's worth it to go through and like redo all your images and upload them manually, because that would take you hours upon hours. But if you're going to use an app, it's worth it.
I love it. That's one thing actually when I was on Squarespace, after I learned about SEO and the file name, how that can impact SEO, I'm like, oh my God, do I really got to go in and update every single one? And I didn't end up updating them because I'm like, I'm not doing that. But I love hearing like, cool, there's something on Shopify that can do it for you. Like that is awesome. Are there any other apps that you want to mention while we're on the conversation of apps? I love how you said, Judge Me, the one about customizable products. What was that one called? ShopPad, Infinite Options or something like that? Is that what you said?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
And then I know bulk image edit.
Bulk image edit. I know a lot of people like to add their Instagram feed to their page. It's not necessarily my recommendation because it sends people away from your store. But let's say you wanted to have Instagram on there, you could use InstaFeed. That's what I use a lot because some people insist that they want their Instagram on their page. I will say the last one, I am actually really getting into Shopify email. And Shopify email is an app that they created to be like an email service provider where you can send campaigns and you can create automated emails. And it's not as flexible as something like Klaviyo or Drip, which are really like robust email platforms for e-commerce. And for Shopify, I personally use Drip. I'm certified Klaviyo expert also, but the Shopify email app is a really good alternative for people who are getting started, who want to get into email marketing, who need to have some automations, but aren't quite fully invested into like a big email system, or they're not like ready to learn a new platform, or they don't have the capacity or even the budget to include some of those things because they can get quite spendy. I'm really enjoying what's possible with the Shopify email app. I think it's a great solution for smaller businesses before they're like, because a lot of people are afraid to send emails, or they don't want to worry about the cost of sending emails. And personally, I think that sending emails is a non-negotiable. So I'm trying to find solutions for those people. And I think the Shopify email app is a great solution.
I love it. And that's something I actually wanted to ask you about, is specifically email. So that was a perfect segue. So as you talk about Shopify email, and you mentioned that they have some automation. So is there anything in particular that you're like, when you get this app, make sure you set up this automation, if it's an abandoned cart email or anything else, any automations that you recommend within that app?
Yeah, so they just recently changed it so that the Shopify email is where your abandoned cart email lives. So if you're using Shopify for your abandoned cart emails, even if you use another platform, it's in the Shopify email app. So you do have to go in there and customize it now. I think it's, one thing that's really funny to me is people will create, and this has happened so many times, you'll be building your website and it has like a newsletter section, and it says, and so you put in there like, oh, sign up for our newsletter and save 10%. And then my clients will be like, but how do they get the 10% email? And I'm like, well, did you set it up? Like, even if you just because you said that they're going to get a 10% coupon doesn't mean that you actually set it up. So you can set up your automations to do like a welcome sequence through there and have that 10% off discount or whatever it is you're doing. You can have it to have, you can do thank you emails after they've made a purchase. You can actually do almost any kind of automation in there now. The place where they're lacking is the data. So Klaviyo Drip will have a lot more data and like that you could analyze to get better results or change things up. That's where the Shopify email app is lacking. But for a lot of people, that might not even be like a roadblock. It's just, okay, whatever, you learn to adapt with it, but you can do all sorts of automations, and they have pre-set up ones for you too. So you could say, I want to make an automation that's a welcome sequence, and it'll give you kind of some recommendations.
I love it. So what type of data is it missing? Does it give you open rates and click-through rates and like who opened it, who clicked, or is that even basic data that's not within Shopify email?
No, it does have that information. Let me tell you. I've been using it more and more, but it's not something like I'm in every day for my clients. But I mean, it is really cool. It does tell you your open rate. So if you sent out a campaign email, it would tell you your open rate and your click-through rate. And it tells you like if you got any sales from that email. If you, let's see, it does tell you, like you can even see who actually got the email from your list of, like you have a list of customers inside of Shopify. So it's linked to your customer list. So it'll tell you who got your emails, who opened it, who clicked, who bounced. So that is great information. I think where it really gets into it, where you really can get granular with things in Klaviyo is like demographics and region. There is some region like data inside of Shopify, but not quite as much. In Klaviyo, you can see like how long someone was on a page and, what they clicked on next. And you're not going to get that kind of information inside of Shopify email right now. And honestly, I think for the majority of people, that's not an issue. Like it's not something that you need to really be focusing on so granular. It's more about like consistency and like which call to actions do they like. But some people really like to know how long were they on this page and how long, like what page did they come from this page? How can I fix that type of thing? But I find for the average business owner, it's not that important.
Yeah. I'm actually in total alignment with you there. I think if they have open rates and if they have click-through rates, I think from a general level, you can assess if your emails are performing or if there's some more testing and wordsmithing and adjusting that you have to do. So
right.
I would love to know how you mentioned, you're a big fan of email too. Do you have benchmarks that you recommend for open rates and click-through rates for people that like what they should be aiming for or any guidelines or if it hits a certain rate, should they adjust or anything along those lines that you have?
I don't, because I don't really get too deep into email strategy, but most of my people don't need that yet. Like they're still at the point where they're not consistently emailing or they don't even have a welcome sequence. They're like still a little bit lower than that. And even in my own emails, I don't necessarily, this is something I could probably improve. Like I don't say, oh, my click-through rate wasn't at my benchmark. I was like, oh, this click-through rate this was a really good click-through rate. How can I like make my next email look more like that one? Or, so even that, I think that's something even I could improve on in the future.
Yeah. No, I love that. I think that's good. At least assessing how they compare to each other and what you can kind of take away. But then part of it too, as you were talking about abandoned cart emails and thank you emails, those essentially it's like another touch point to the customer. That's the main point right there is let me remind them of, hey, they've got this in their cart, or let me thank them for their purchase. So it's good to hear you mention like those are super important to get set up and super easy and don't require like a blog or a newsletter or a weekly email to go out, can just be kind of one and done items. So love to hear that Shopify can have that as something in their email app, which is pretty cool. So really what I want to ask you next, which maybe we've touched on it a little bit, but are there any other top mistakes that Shopify store owners make when they are DIYing their own store?
Yes, but not in the design realm. The other thing that I'm really known for in my Shopify world is SEO. And I would say that most shops are not optimized for SEO. Like the biggest mistake I'll see is customer or shop owners are making like a product listing that has a really cute name, but doesn't describe the product. You know, like they might have said like, oh, this is the pink opal phone case. And like, we don't know what that means, you know, like, okay, it's a phone case, but what kind of phone case? Like, is it Apple 14? Is it Apple, you know, whatever? They really need to be specific with their product titles and not so creative and fluffy. I would say fluffy with their product titles as far as like getting traffic to the store, but it's also really good user experience. Like if I saw you on Instagram showing me this pink phone case and I went to your store and I typed in pink phone case and I can't find it, then that's bad user experience. So even if I don't know the name of the product, if you've properly titled it, then I should be able to find it. So I want to so making sure that your product titles and your product descriptions are actually descriptive and not just like cute and creative, which I know is really hard for some of us, like in the handmade industry and the like artist industry. We really want things to be cute and creative, but it's not helping you get sales and it's not helping your customers find your products. So really there's no point to it. Mm-hmm. Some people get offended when I say that, but it's accurate. There's another trait.
Yeah. And there's a saying that says clear is better than cute, right? So like it's better to be crystal clear with your customers than trying to come up with a cute saying. I agree with you 100%. When you talk about the description actually being descriptive, do you have any, just anything that can help people? Is it just get to the facts? Let's hear like the benefits, how to use it, the ingredients, the instructions. Let's cut through the fluff. Is there fluff that are people implementing, or what specifically on the description? Like how would you advise people on how to have a kick-ass description?
Yeah, I think descriptions are really tricky for all of us because some people are telling us, oh, you need to have a story for everything. And some people are telling us you just want the facts. And Google likes you to have a certain number of words per page. And it's like, how do I come up with this many words about this description? So it's really, there's no perfect answer. I kind of like to go somewhere in the middle. I'm not going to write a 500-word description for a simple product or any product probably. So usually I will have like one or two sentences that kind of tell the story or more, incorporate the brand, incorporate the style, whatever it is. And then I will list out some bullet points where I have the materials or the ingredients. And if you have food products, or certain types of things like skincare where you need to list deeper ingredients, you're going to have a little bit of a different, layout for your page. But I like to do somewhere in the middle where they have like bullet points and those important things so people can scan. And then I might add more if I wanted to incorporate it. So I'm working on a t-shirt shop and, we have like a couple of sentences that are really cute, really incorporate the brand and the style and still tell you what it is. Like this is a cute, soft t-shirt that says this, that you could wear with jeans and leggings, to incorporate that piece of things. And then we have bullet points that says, this is why you'll love it. It's 100%, organic, pre-shrunk cotton, whatever, it's a unisex fit. So, you can style it all these different ways, whatever the things are. And then I might add a little bit more if I really feel compelled, but I also don't feel compelled. Like if I don't, I don't. The most important thing I think is more to have consistency across your listing. So if you have bullet points in some listings and not in the others, it can be confusing for people because they're like, they might be looking for the bullet points that you had on this. Like, oh, they said this one was made of that, but they don't see them on the other listing. That's more of the problem than having a specific thing. So I like to create a template for the style of product listing. So I'll say, we write 3 sentences and then we have our 5 bullet points, or how many ever bullet points. And then maybe we need to do this. So whatever it is that we can be consistent across the board on all of the listings.
Yeah, I think that's such a great tip. And I think people really struggle with that too. So I love the idea that you said of create a template and stick to it so people know exactly where the directions are or the ingredients are or the sizes or the material or whatever they're looking for. It's really interesting. I feel like that's something relatively simple, but a lot of people miss and can totally impact the customer experience exactly how you laid it out. So I love that you highlighted that, and because I completely agree that is something that we all need in our shops. Okay. Anything else you want to share about SEO? Any other mistakes? Any other tips? Any other tactics before we wrap up today?
I also want to include in that template is that you need to have consistency across your images, and not just the background, the colors or anything like that, but the size. The biggest mistake, or one of the sloppiest mistakes you can make on a Shopify store, is having product images that are not all the same size ratio. So some people will have vertical and then horizontal, and it makes your store look so sloppy. I recommend all of your product images are all the same size. So you could do square, you could do vertical, you could do horizontal. It doesn't matter, but you want to have those dimensions, write them down, keep a note, make an Asana template, whatever it is, however you organize your stuff so that you know exactly what dimensions your photos need to be. It makes your site function really clean, and it looks cleaner and more professional when people are clicking through. That's one of my biggest pet peeves on Shopify stores. I'm just make your images the same.
Yes, clean it up. Gotta have that good user experience. I love it. Well, you shared some awesome tips with us today. I loved hearing about the different apps that you recommend, the different purposes. I loved hearing your take on using Shopify email. I loved hearing the top mistakes that people make and how they can avoid them. So thank you for sharing all of your insights and just being a wealth of knowledge on Shopify, email, SEO, all the things that we talked about today. So I'd love to just end with asking you where people can find out more about you. Where can they learn from you? Do you have any programs or services that you want to mention? Now is your time to share with all of us how we can keep learning from you.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can find me at productpowerhouse.co. That is where you'll find all the information about my DIY course that teaches you how to set up your Shopify store and design it like a professional. I also have digital products. I have 2 different offers that teach SEO, one with a workbook, in depth, and one that's a workshop style. So if you want, whichever you prefer. I also have smaller things that teach you how to do very specific things, how to create, right now I have how to create a gift guide, and people are loving individual things. I also have a podcast, the Product Powerhouse podcast, that has, is just all dedicated towards growing an e-commerce business and online business, specifically using lots of Shopify tips and information. And I guess if you want to hang out on social media, the most active place to find me is Instagram, and my handle is at product.powerhouse.
Awesome. I'll make sure to link everything in the link in bio so people, or the show notes, wrong platform. You got me thinking about Instagram. I'll make sure to link that in the show notes so people can find you. And thank you so much for spending time with me here today.